Hey guys, today we got this little tutorial on how to paint this cool little glowy jack-o'-lantern. This one's geared a little bit towards beginners. Pretty cool little piece. Didn't take me about 45 minutes to paint this up. Might take you a little bit longer depending on your skill, but let's get on to it. All right, first thing we want to do is mask off the eyes, nose, and mouth. And I masked mine off, and you see I'm cutting it out with an X-Acto knife. You mix up a little bit of orange and add a tiny little bit of blue to that orange. That should make it a little bit darker. This particular orange was a little bit more to the red side than it was to the yellow side. And I'm just going in here very, very loosely and laying in some base color. Then I'm going to add a little bit more blue to my orange, and that's going to mix up and become a brown. If you guys are unfamiliar with how to mix your own colors, you should check out my color video that I got that tells you how to mix any color. You can see the brown mix that I made there. And notice I use that little shield. That's just a leftover piece I had left over from a jack-o'-lantern I painted up last week. Doing a lot of them this time of year. And then notice how just I'm loosely working like in a figure eight. I'm just kind of like flicking the paint around there to get those foggy looking textures and stuff. Then I'm going to come in and just darken up from the bottom and obliterate that entire bottom so it's dark that the top will be a little bit darker. Use texture shield to create a bunch of loose textures there. I'm not getting real concerned about where they're at. This isn't supposed to be very realistic. I want to put a few cracks in there, here and there, with that brown mix. Notice that it is a little bit more to the red side of a brown, but that's not necessarily an exact that has to be. Add a little bit more red to that brown mix, as you can see right there. Just wanted some of that red color to create a little bit of glow later on. And then I added a little tiny bit of black to that mix, and I'm going to come in here and darken everything up one more time, add a few more textures along as we go. Okay, now you want to peel the masking off like you would peel a sunbird off a pasty white chick who spent a little bit too much time at the beach. Anyway, what I want you to see here is what you're looking at there, just so you guys know what you're looking at. This is like the inside edge. We're looking at that pumpkin from this direction, and what you would see is catch that edge. That's the pumpkin inside because it's thick, and that's the part that stays kind of reddish and brown. Notice that follows along, and this one isn't exact, but that's kind of the pattern that you're going for. That's what creates that different color of the effect of the glowy from the eyes. Okay, after I peeled all that masking off, you'll notice I come in here with my darkest mix and that I'm going to work in around that. The reason I do that before or finish doing that afterwards, and I use a little bit of texture shield there, is you want to kind of gunk up that edge just a little bit so that you don't have that too crisp of an edge, which will create that look. That helps kind of kill that stencily look by going in and darkening here. So that's that dark reddish brown mix with a little bit of black, and we're going to go in here and deepen in everything that's going to be really dark. Okay, so I mixed up a nice clean orange now, no desaturation, it's just straight up red and yellow. You just want it to be a pretty vibrant orange. And then we're going to work on that left hand side. And as I was talking about, remember to just kind of keep in mind how the perspective you have, what you'll be viewing, so you know that there's depth to that pumpkin, so you're covering that left hand side of each individual thing, and that'll follow that pattern all the way around. So as your eyes would look in it, you would see the edging of the pumpkin. The pumpkin has a thickness to it. And I'm going to also let that orange run over the edges just about everywhere. Even using my texture shield a little bit there because I want it to be a little bit of rough edge, because if you carved a pumpkin, that edge would not be crisp. We want it to be a little bit, a little bit rough. And also having that orange run across that edge will help with that glowy effect. We're going to do the same thing with the yellow as well here in a little bit. And so we're going to follow that around. We're going to follow everything to that left hand side of the perspective, any place that you would see the inside edge of the pumpkin interior, I should say, the pumpkin interior, everywhere that's going to be would show up is going to get that orange coloring. We're gonna grab some yellow and straight yellow and reduce it down a little bit so we don't obliterate the colors underneath it. And then we're gonna fill everything in with yellow. And notice how I let that yellow, as I was talking about running that orange out, I let that yellow catch off of them edges, which just kind of creates a haze that'll enhance the glowing effect. We're not using any specialty paints here, anything like that. We're using just plain transparent paints. Once we get done with that yellow, we're gonna go in here and we're gonna take our white and we're going to catch the edge of wherever the light would catch the edge of the interior of the pumpkin again. So we're just catching that edge, working off of that with the white, and that's where the white would catch, or the light would catch that edge and cause an intense glow at the edge of the pumpkin interior. And then once I get all that white in there, of course smoke is optional, but if you're going to do some smoke, you know, you just want to be very careful. Go very light, reduce your white down. I'm using white. I'm going to come in here and put a little bit of smoke in here and there, and yeah, as you'll see, I'm just working in patterns, or not really patterns, or just very loose and random with my painting strokes. And you practice that. Smoke's a really cool, easy effect to create. You can get a really realistic look without a whole lot of work. Just need to practice it a few times. I'm going to come in with some red and chase around with some red just on the very edges. I thought I could use a little bit of red coloring. So that's just a straight red, and I'm just going to come in here and catch all of the edges where the orange would run up against the edge to the front side of the eye holes and all that. Also glaze the red over my smoke just to give it a little bit of glowy effect. You know, now I'm kind of playing with it and trying to decide what I do like, what to keep, what I want to keep, what I don't want to keep. So when I get done putting that red in there, I thought it needed to be a little bit darker in places, so I put some creases in there. So I just mixed up a little bit of brown with that red and, you know, darken those spots in. You wouldn't be careful or pay attention to the fact that the darkest spots, usually your shadows are darkest where they're formed. So just like those shadows are formed on the edge of those teeth, that's going to be the darkest spot. After that, I came back in with my reduced white and I'm going to add some little glowy effects there. Notice that I'm just working, really just kind of throwing a bunch of textures in there by freeform hand. You can have your paint over reduced and have blowouts, and it won't hurt a thing in this particular case. The rougher the better. As a matter of fact, some of my line work was a little bit too crisp on this. So, you know, don't get too carried away. Make sure you take a foot or two back from it and see if you're happy with the effect. If you're not, then you know you need to add a little bit more. Just going through anywhere that I think a glow would be formed from the light, I'm going to hit with that white, and then I'm going to, after I get done with that, I'm going to go back with that same white mix and I'm going to put some more smoke back in. Of course, smoke is optional and use at your discretion. You know, just depends on the exact look that you're going for. All right, folks, that's it for today, but I appreciate y'all stopping by. If you like the video, always please give me a thumbs up, and as I always say, if you don't like it, the other thumb works just fine. But anyway, we appreciate y'all coming by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you subscribe so you can get notified when new videos come out. I have over 40 videos currently, so you might want to check some of those other ones out if you haven't. But anyway, oh, by the way, my name is Bill Kennedy with W. Leon Artistry, and that's about it. Y'all have a good one. We appreciate you. Bye.